very, very grassroots. We had $3,000 in the bank. We had no staff. I was handed a flip phone, a keychain about this big, full of it seemed like a zillion keys to me, but it was fine. I mean, it was used furniture, and the Little Rock Church had rallied around this mission.
Welcome to Multiple Myeloma Patient Connect podcast. My name is Noose. Today we have a treat, Kim from Goodness Village in Little Rock, Arkansas. But before I introduce Kim, I'll just say a few words about Patient Connect and what it is. So Patient Connect is an online community that connects multiple myeloma patients with people, places, and things that matter to them. And we have a 8,000 person community that we are partnered with, and we have over 1,000 people on the map now. Every day we have dozens and dozens of people signing up to the site. So come on in and tell us your story. We're happy to grow the community across the United States and even internationally. So there's a lot going on there, and we look forward to having you on the platform, Patient Connect. Kim, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved with patient lodging, which is a whole, normally we interview patients, but we're trying to look at the halo around the patient, and patient lodging is a very important factor in how patients get care. So Kim, take it away.
Well, I wanted to say thank you so much. It's such an opportunity to be invited to share. My name's Kim Burket, and I'm the Executive Director for Goodness Village, as Noose had indicated. And it's just such a pleasure to be able to provide a true home away from home to patients. But a little bit about myself. My background, interesting enough, is in hospitality. I spent 17 years working in the hotel side of things, and learned a lot. And I think that was a good stepping stone for me to get into what I was doing. Was a stay-at-home mom for a little bit, did some volunteer work in the community, and did some volunteer work. Started volunteering with Home Away from Home, which was this ministry. Started about 15 years ago volunteering, and I literally just fell in love with the mission. It's just really a grassroots, just pull up your shirt sleeves and just really get just in with the people, loving the people, encouraging the people, and just sharing love and loving our neighbors as ourselves. And so I volunteered for a short amount of time and quickly realized, hey, this is really something special. And so things actually fell into place as they should have. And the director at that time, she was going into a new season. And so she asked me if I would be interested in stepping up. And I wasn't quite sure that I was ready for that. But my background involves with both of my grandmothers losing their lives to blood cancer, and one losing her life to leukemia, and one to lymphoma. And so I think that's another part of why this resonates with me. I've been through it with my family and understand the importance of the resources that are needed, and the housing, and the right doctors, and all those things. And so I'm so glad I said yes, because I could not imagine my life without having this mission on the front and foremost of my everyday. And so when I started, again, very, very grassroots, we had $3,000 in the bank. We had no staff. I was handed a flip phone, a keychain about this big, full of it seemed like a zillion keys to me. I think at that time they had about 12 apartments at that time, and it was at a low income housing authority, but it was fine. I mean, it was used furniture, and the Little Rock Church had rallied around this mission. I think it's good to mention that the mission actually started by the vision of one woman who was actually caring for her mother that had multiple myeloma. And she saw a need. She was in the waiting room with her mother, and saw a need where people were living out of their cars and trying to figure out where they were going to stay. And so this brave woman, Carolyn Johnson, 29 years ago, signed the lease on the first apartment. And so good to mention that bit of history on that. So fast forward, after I started and just kind of dug in, and I quickly realized, wow, what have I gotten myself into? But wouldn't have changed it one bit, because I really truly feel that the part of the journey that I went through was that the Lord, we are a Christ-centered ministry, by the way. The Lord wanted me to learn every aspect of the mission, and I did. And it was hard. It wasn't just all beautiful and nice and easy. It really had to dig in. I had to really search for some volunteers. Even though we had the church engaged, we did not have a staff, we did not have a budget. And so I quickly had to use my skill sets that, back to my hospitality days, and just kind of dug in and lean in and just really try to listen to the patients on what was important to the patients. And so fast forward to 2020, we became our own nonprofit. We stepped away from the church, and that has truly been a game changer, News. It's just been incredible, where we have abilities to apply for grants, which helps with the funding, which it's just been a game changer. When I finally let go, I had a little bit of control there for a while, but once I finally let go, we have a staff of 17 now, and so we
Wow.
have folks that answer the phone, help out with the cleaning and marketing and development and volunteers, and so things are really aligning for the program. But our main focus for Goodness Village is focus on the patient, and we don't ever want to really forget that why we're doing what we're doing is for the patient's benefit.
That is a very powerful story and a great sort of arc and trajectory for how Goodness Village has gone from, bare bones to serving, so many patients with affordable housing options when they're in a time of critical need. They're not well and they have to get their treatments, and it requires them to stay for a long period of time. So tell us a little bit about the partnership with, Goodness Village and UAMS, and how you guys work together to
Sure.
take care of patients.
Sure. Well, we serve all local hospitals, but UMS is very special to us because that's why we started, is serving their multiple myeloma patients. And so we work very closely with their social workers, and they make referrals to us. People will learn about us patient to patient. We're on their list. But it's a growing partnership. And I think it's very important to have a partnership, because we learning what they're doing, what's important for the patients and the caregivers too. And so I really take pride in building those strong partnerships for the benefit of the patient.
I think that's really important because there's just a lack of awareness. I find that people don't know that this option even exists, right? And so it's very dependent upon, the unsung heroes, the people in this business of patient lodging, affordable apartment style housing, and the social workers who are actually, connecting patients to their options. And so a lot of patients just don't know that there are affordable options, versus breaking the bank and trying to figure out on top of your illness, how you can afford the treatments and the stays for the treatments and so on. So, hats off to the unsung heroes like yourself and the social workers and the other staff, care coordinators. Speaking of which, are there any folks that you work with on a regular basis that you want to sort of highlight as going above and beyond at UAMS and or anywhere else?
Right. I tell you that all of the workers, I mean, it takes a team and it takes a village. And so just working together, the social workers just, pour their time into these patients and meeting with them. I mean, the doctors, the transplant coordinators, the leadership, everybody. I take at all hospitals, I think it is important to be engaged with all of the resources that are available in the communities, and
Mm-hmm.
working together and finding out what's important, and overcoming those barriers that may be coming up is really important as well. And I really take pride in being able to pick up that phone and being able to call somebody at UMS or other hospitals. And I think that they respect what we do. We respect what they do. But at the end of the day, it is about the patient and how we can improve things for the patients.
Absolutely. I love that patient-centered focus. We have the same thing at Patient Connect. So can you tell us a little bit about some of the challenges and issues that families face, that lead them to you or, during their stays with you? What are some of the things that need to be overcome and that, you see and that you feel like people should be aware of and know as they think about this option?
Let me set the stage here. Just imagine if you were faced with a diagnosis and being told that you had to leave your own city, state, your own country, and having to come into an unfamiliar space, location such as Little Rock, Arkansas, which many people may have never heard of, and that's pretty scary. And so, what I think a lot of the barriers might be is where are you going to stay? How are we going to afford this? Who's going to take care of my family members at home while I'm going to have treatment? How can I possibly take off work for that long? And so, just setting the stage of so many emotions we see from the front end, from the very first call, is just overwhelming to the patient and to the caregiver as well. And we try at Goodness Village from the very first call that we receive from the patient is just set them at ease, put them at ease, and let them know that they have a friend in Little Rock, that they have somebody that they can count on, and not just a place that is housing. We become their friends. We're their family, and truly an extension of their family, that we can help guide them, help navigate them, help connect them to resources, and places like Patient Connect. It's just I love what you guys are doing because there's so many resources out there, but people are so busy and they don't have the time to be calling all these different phone numbers, searching through all these directory books. Having one place, one hub to be able to find what they need is just crucial because they don't have a lot of extra time. And so those barriers, there's so many, but we just try to be a friend and lend a hand and help them through those barriers as best we can.
Thank you. And that's awesome. That's exactly right. We're trying to take what normally, people would take years or months and weeks to learn about or stumble upon and really help them find that personalized to them and their journey within minutes. Right. And so it's a path to get to that point, but we're making strides. And with the help of people like Kim at Goodness Village, it does take a village to change, the journey for patients to be one more streamlined, one more efficient, knowledgeable, to be empowered as you're having decisions to make with your family and your care team. It's hard enough to carry the condition that you have and to beat it or overcome it and to live with it in a way that works better. And so it takes a village to make that journey better. So that's what we're trying to do all together. Can you tell us a little bit more about the patient experiences and the patient stories that you've come upon, if any of them stick out to you in terms of common themes and commonalities that you hear all the time as you become family with many of them? What are some things that they're going through that they find help with, or you get them through?
I've got so many stories, but 30 minutes would never give me enough time. And everybody that knows me knows that I love to talk. But I tell you, so many heart-wrenching stories, just very, very hard stories. I'd love to share a few just highlights. When I first started, I've been doing this for 15 years now. It was around the first or second year when I was just really, it's really hard being on the front line with a lot of these hard situations. But one particular story that speaks to me early on was a mom and a dad. The dad had multiple myeloma, and he was young, and they had triplets, and they were here in Little Rock from Wichita, Kansas. And so the mom was adamant about keeping the family together. And so with our option of having an apartment, a fully furnished apartment where your family can cook your own meals, do your own laundry, really a true home away from home, not just a room, but a home where you can keep your family together. That was such a beautiful illustration where the mom could homeschool her children. They were 9 years old at that time. Then I had other people in the community that were offering to step up and pay their rent. And that was just really incredible. My family and other volunteers, we would take the kids because imagine having your kiddos when they're away from home, trying to homeschool and still having fun. Well, we would take them bowling, having pizza parties, and just, the birthdays and all those Christmas, Halloween, and all those things still happen. And so we tried to just help them to have a little bit of fun and just be kids. Another story that I love is during COVID, and that was when we rolled out Goodness Village, when we were going to be able to hopefully do all these celebrations and such. But it really gave us a talking piece when some of the other housing options were having to run at lower capacities or even closing their doors because there was such an unknown about COVID. But our talking piece became, we're made for this, because with the apartments, you could turn one doorknob and be in the safe apartment, the clean, safe environment where you weren't around other people. So we had a guest that was moved from another housing option, and they had to go home for a little bit. Then when they came back, it was that rule at that time that they could not go back to this other housing facility. And so we were full at that time. And so we got creative. We're ones that's like, oh, we're full. Who cares? Sorry, next. We are ones that advocate for the patients. We may not have the answer, or we may not be the best option, but if there's something that we can do, we will do it. And so we stepped up, thought out of the box, and actually rented some furniture at another apartment, and we're able to house this little boy and his family who was 4 years old, who was waiting for a kidney transplant. And so I'm thinking of a recent story of a young boy that's 16 years old, and it was a time period that was really hard for him. And yet at the same time, his mom was diagnosed with breast cancer. And so unimaginable situations where we can step up and walk alongside these families who just are looking for hope, who are looking for just a friend, someone that can go run an errand, someone that can bring by a meal. And so those are the kinds of things that we do. Um, it's just an incredible experience. There's so many barriers that these families run across: financial, emotional, support. And so we just try to find other organizations within our community that are willing to step up to help us, whatever the guest may need.
That's amazing. I mean, you guys really are, the heroes, along with other people within this halo around the patient and their caretakers. Even the caretakers need caretaking.
Right.
It's like it's a whole family and community endeavor. So that's probably a good way to segue to the community and their role in the community. How does the Little Rock community help support the work that Goodness Village is trying to do, the work around patients, and just to pitch in and really sort of create that environment that is everything you mentioned?
We rely on our community. And, I've been saying a lot lately, we've really been the best kept secret, I feel, for a long time, because we didn't have the capacity. I was by myself for a long time, just with few staff, but we didn't have the capacity to even get out and share about what we were doing. So it's been a game changer for us to become our own nonprofit, to where people can learn about us. And it's just, things are really aligning, and we rely on the community, and people are stepping up. And it is just, it's so refreshing to see how people, can I bring a meal? Can I stop by? Can I take the guest and their children out to dinner? Can I go play games with the kids, or just, whatever it may be? It's just, our volunteer base has just grown tremendously, just in the last few years. It's just incredible. Um, I can't thank everybody enough for just stepping up. But
Absolutely. And how do you think about individuals and the businesses? You mentioned like the volunteers, and you have so much support, people are helping. And from a business community standpoint, are the businesses involved?
Absolutely. We just actually celebrated our first inaugural event, October 2nd. And this was an event we didn't even plan this year, but we were thinking, how can we bring awareness? So we kicked off this idea, and it really was the most amazing experience ever. And so what that looked like was, we had a full day of goodness, and we were able to go out to different businesses and share about what we do and how folks can get involved. We had volunteer opportunities. We had 12 different groups, large corporations, churches that stepped up to come and learn about Goodness Village, take a tour, volunteer, helping us make baskets, clean, just a variety of different volunteer opportunities. So yes, the community is participating. They're participating with sponsorships, volunteer opportunities, adopting apartments, and just showing the love of themselves and participating. We're really excited about it.
That's great. How can people help, from anywhere, not just locally, but, across the country, whoever's watching this, how can people help, um, Goodness Village or just sort of patient lodging in general, wherever they are in their local community? How would you think about how people can participate and help these people in need?
Well, I encourage everybody to take a look at our website. That will give you a true glimpse of what we're all about. There's a lot of wonderful videos, illustrations of volunteer opportunities that people can get engaged. But I have to say that any nonprofit, I have to say that funding is truly a big need, and especially if we want to get to where we're going. And I know that we'll probably talk about the vision at some point, but funding is a true factor. We do have a family support fund, and last year we were able to provide $185,000 for to patients directly to the patients who needed financial assistance. And so, just to kind of share a little bit about what that looks like, when people connect with us and they'll connect with our patient navigator, we'll go through a process. Talking with the family, making them feel comfortable. We do have a very simple application. It just gives us a better idea of what the patients and caregiver family may need, household income. But I will say that every single person that stays with us, no matter what their household income, they do receive financial assistance, because no matter what your household income is, there's going to be a barrier there. And so we really are thankful for that. So the more folks we get in our corner, I'm hopeful that someday we will have some apartments that are free and that will be adopted by some folks. That would be a short-term goal. And I do just feel that the ones that learn about us and really see the impact that we are making in our community will want to participate. But we truly are just looking for the hands and hearts to help through volunteerism, and also maybe even part of our team as we grow.
Love that. Love that. So, how big do you think, Goodness Village can get, or sort of like what's some of the stretch goals or ambitions that you see that Goodness Village can evolve into, let's say, over the next 5 years or 10 years, or where do you see this going, or what do you hope for?
I'm a very visionary person, and I'm dreaming big. So Little Rock is a huge medical hub, and I'm just giving it all I've got. And it's not just me, it's our team. And I have to give a really big shout out to my team, because we could not be where we are today without the team. And then just the dedication they give, and their heart they put into every single thing that they do. But as far as short-term goals, I mean, next year we hope to add another apartment. We currently have 22 apartments. But we never know who we might meet. As far as long-term goals, Little Rock, like I said, is a huge medical hub serving several hospitals here in our community, people coming from all over the world and all over different states. Just to kind of give you a few stats on that, we served 350 guests last year, coming from 22 different states, 5 foreign countries, and 6,069 nights of housing. And so when you're thinking that many people are coming into Little Rock, and we're actually turning people away, and so are the other housing options here in the city, we really need to get ready. And so our goals, even though the apartment settings, we lease the apartments from 2 apartment communities here in Little Rock, I truly feel that we would love to build our own place. If I were dreaming big, like I love to do, I envision cottages, even though the apartments seem to work very nice. What we lack, I think, is really more community feel. I would like to get the cottages close, where the caregivers can collaborate more and spend time together. I envision a support center, a chapel, walking trails, community gardens where the community could get engaged, where we could have healthy eating. And so we've got big goals for Goodness Village, but we are very, very grassroots. But if we get the right folks in our corner, I really feel that this could be something special. The land's going to dictate the way that things were set up. So it might not be cottages, it might be something, a little taller. But we do see that the unique model that we have, that is a home setting, that is where we want to stay. Again, back to being able to keep the family together, the whole family, and being able to cook your meals in a safe environment, a clean environment. We have supply drives all the time that we supply everything that you need in the apartment. We have walkers, wheelchairs, truly everything that you need. But we want to build that village.
That's fantastic. Okay. So we will wrap now, but what I wanted to do is ask you, if you had to give one message to people who, are needing care at some of these specialty centers, and hospital systems like at Little Rock or even other places, but, in terms of affordable apartment style patient housing, to give you, all the privacy and, environment that you need to focus on what's important. What's the main message you want to give to the patients that are considering you or another facility like you?
I just want to first stay or keep the hope. Keep the hope. You've got a lot of people here in Little Rock that have some great housing options. And even if Goodness Village may not be the right one for you, there are some wonderful housing options here. But finding a good place that fits your needs, a safe, clean environment that provides encouragement, love, and hope along the way. I encourage you to get that network going with the other patients that you're surrounded with, the caregivers, taking care of yourself. And just don't lose that hope and keep on keeping on.
Love that. Love that. Okay. So on that note, we have Goodness Village on the Patient Connect map, with the link to their site. Get in touch with Kim. We'll include the link here. And Kim, we want to thank you for telling us your story and basically the patient lodging option for patients and what you're doing specifically in Little Rock, Arkansas. It's amazing. Kim is infectious. I'm sure she'd speak to anybody who is also in this space, patient lodging, as well as any patient that has any question from the interview that we just had. So thank you so much, Kim, for all you're doing. And we will keep promoting your work, and we look forward to more success.
Well, I really appreciate all that you're doing. And again, back to working together for the good of the patient. That's what it's all about. You all keep up the good work as well.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.